Hey friends, welcome back to Ball Homestead. Wayne and I have a busy day today, so we're up pretty early. We've had breakfast and I have an excess of milk. At work, sometimes we have milk that goes out of date and we will throw it away usually, but if it's still good, I will bring it home and make farmer's cheese or yogurt with it. I hate things to go to waste, and my motto is if it's free, it's for me. So we brought in 2 cases of milk that had expired just by a day or two. All of it was good. I smelled every one of them. And we were gonna make some farmer's cheese and yogurt. So we're gonna get going on that. Another thing is if you're at your grocery store and you go by the dairy section and you see milk that's 99 cents a gallon, get it. Make you some farmer's cheese. It's so good and so simple to make. All you need is vinegar, a thermometer, and some herbs, or you can use fruit in it. We just prefer herbs usually. Sometimes I'll do some fruit jam on it and make like a sweet cheesy dip. It's delicious. But you can still do this fairly cheap and not live on a homestead. You can buy it at, a lot of times I see it at the store for 99 cents, and I've done that before. You just don't want ultra pasteurized milk. You just want like your regular gallons of milk. And I feel like 2% and whole milk are your best two to use. I've never used anything lower than that, and those two have always turned out well for me. To make our farmer's cheese, we're going to add about 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons of milk. All of this milk was past the date, but it was still good milk. It didn't smell bad. It tasted fine. So we're going to use that to make our farmer's cheese. My motto is don't, if you can save something, save it in a different way and use it up. So we're just going to pour all this milk in our pot, and we're going to heat this up to 190 degrees. You want to get it, you're going to have to stay with it. You can't, this is not something you can put on the stove and walk off from. It will have to be stirred pretty often. I pretty much stay in the kitchen the entire time and stir every minute or two because your milk will scorch. And we don't want that. We want it to be a delicious cheese. So here I've put 1 gallon to 1.5 gallons of milk in my pot. And like I said, I'm going to bring this up to 190 degrees. And then we will add 1 cup of vinegar. We just want to keep a good stir on it and make sure that our milk does not scorch. Here we have added a couple of tablespoons of dill weed. I like to add it to the milk when it still has the whey in it because it kind of rehydrates that dill a little bit. And I also added 1 cup of vinegar, and now we're going to let this set for 15 minutes undisturbed. We're just going to leave it alone, forget about it for 15 minutes, and let that set. You do one little stir around after you add the vinegar and then leave it alone. Now we're going to strain it out, and we have our cheesecloth. I like to wet it. I feel like it holds better to my colander if it's wet. So I'll wet my cheesecloth, then I pour my curds and whey through that, and sometimes I'll save the whey because the animals love it, but on this day I decided to just let it go down the drain. So anyways, you'll see me lifting that up, and that is all whey running out of our cheese curds. And we're just going to strain as much of that whey out of this cheese as we can. It's very hot too. You have let it set for about 15 minutes before this process, but I mean your milk was at 180 degrees, so you want, it's pretty warm. So I end up getting a wooden spoon there and just kind of mashing the sides of my cheesecloth and getting as much of that whey out as we can, because we want to, it's not going to be a real firm cheese, but it is not going to be like cream cheese either. It's a little firmer than that. Just going to keep squeezing out as much of that whey as we can. This process doesn't take very long. Just a few minutes. Once we get all the whey out, our cheese will be done. Squeeze that last little bit out of there. And once we get our cheese in the bowl, we're going to salt it. It's very important to not forget to salt your cheese, because it pretty much tastes like nothing if you forget to salt it. So we're going to get that bowl, or the container we're going to use to keep this cheese in. I'll just do that so I don't have I think I do get a bowl today. I can't remember. Sometimes I get a bowl and mix the salt in, then I put it in the container. Sometimes I just put it in the container and salt it and put it in the fridge. But on this day, I did get a bowl, and we're going to crumble that around and get it salted well. I probably use, I would say, a tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon and a half of salt. I mean, I just kind of start slow, mix it in. I'll give it a taste and see if it needs more. That's kind of how I do it. But I'm getting all those cheese curds that I can off of that cheesecloth. And then we are going to add our salt. Like I said, I just do a little bit at a time because I don't want to get it too salty, and I just kind of mix it around. And I'll give it a little taste and go from there. That's just how I've done it. I'm sure there's more perfect recipes, but this is just how I do it, friends. Now just move that cheese around. Be sure to get that salt mixed in there well. And I'm going to give it a little taste. And it's perfect. So now we're going to put this cheese in a container and put it in the fridge. And our cheese is done. I love a good farmer's cheese. It's quick and simple. You can use that milk if it's about to go out of date, or if it's out of date and still good, use it up and make a product that your family will enjoy and it doesn't go to waste. Put this on some crackers and eat, or we make our own deer summer sausage. We're still eating on last year's. I laid a pack out. I thought, oh, this will be so good with some crackers for a meal, really. We try to eat kind of light. And anyways, there's our cheese. I still have a ton of milk left. I have, I think, another gallon and a half, something like that, in the fridge to use up. So another thing that I really enjoy to have in the fridge is homemade yogurt. Friends, if you've never made homemade yogurt, you are missing out. I have done a video on this before, but it's so good. And if you have milk that's about to go bad, you can take that milk and make some yogurt. And oh, it's so good. I cannot express how wonderful homemade yogurt is. And yogurt is so good for you. It has all those natural bacterias in there that's good for your gut and good for your health. So I do like to have yogurt in our fridge. So we're doing a double batch today of yogurt and a double batch of farmer's cheese. And it was all free besides the yogurt culture, which I bought the yogurt at Walmart a month ago because I was out. And we're going to use some of that to culture this milk. And all we needed for the farmer's cheese was our herbs and our vinegar. And it was basically free. And my motto is, if it's free, it's for me. And for your yogurt, you're going to want to bring it up to 100 to 110 degrees, no hotter. Because if you get it past that, you can let it cool down. I did have to do that on this day. I got it a little past 110. So I just left it sitting on the stove for an hour or so, and it cooled right down. Then I put it in my crock pot and added my culture. If you put your culture in before it's at 110, you'll kill your culture. So you want to put that in at 110 or below, nothing above it. As our milk's heating up, I just think of all the ways that we can eat this yummy yogurt. And I love to make homemade granola. I'm going to try to do a video this week on that so we can have it with our yogurt. It is so delicious. My favorite is the peanut butter yogurt, or peanut butter granola. It is easy and so yummy, so we may try to do that this week. I also like to just put a little dollop of my homemade jam in it, some of that granola, and friends, it is so good. It's so good for you too. All those probiotics and stuff in the yogurt is good for your gut health, and it is just delicious. When this yogurt gets to 100 to 110 degrees, we're going to add 2 heaping tablespoons of our yogurt culture. We're going to mix it in good, then we're going to pour it in our crock pot. Then we're going to wrap a towel around our crock pot and just forget it, or for overnight, but 12 to 14 hours. Then we're going, the next morning when we get up, we're going to line a strainer with a wet cheesecloth, and we're going to dump all that in there, and we're going to put it in a bowl and set it in the fridge all day. The next morning after it's set overnight in the fridge, we're going to pour our yogurt into a bowl. This is the finished product. This is just plain yogurt. We will top it with granola, jam, or jelly, and we will eat every bite of it. It's so good and delicious. It could have sat in the cheesecloth for another day, but I decided to go ahead and pull it because I had another batch to put in there. But anyways, thank you for stopping back by our homestead. Please like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, friends, goodbye.